I had the pleasure of interviewing Mike Strange last Thursday, who has been a columnist at the Knoxville News Sentinel for 29 years. Mike also does TV on Sunday mornings and does some sports broadcasts for the Sentinel. He had lots of interesting things to say about the business.
What made you decide that you wanted to become a sports journalist?
Well, I was kind of late to it. I went to a small school in Kentucky that didn't even have a journalism degree, and even if they did, I wouldn't have known what I wanted to do. Graduated and got out and worked for a while, and I was about 26 when I decided that I'd give writing a try, journalism school. So I went back to journalism school at the University of Kentucky and got a second degree, and didn't even intend to be a sports writer, but just when I graduated, there were several job interviews I went to, and the one that was said, "We'll hire you now," was a sports editor of a little daily paper in Middlesboro, Kentucky. So I took the bird in the hand.
What is the most difficult part of being a sports writer that people may not think about?
Well, I think just from the work part, the deadlines are really hard, and the night games, particularly a night football game, where just you've got so much to do and very little time to do it, and try to not make mistakes and try to have good grammar and get all the facts right. And then with all the online things we do now during the game too, just kind of adds to it. So I would say probably the hardest thing about it is just game night when on a tight deadline.
Are there times where you miss getting to be a fan and wish you could just casually watch games?
Well, of course, I was a fan growing up like anybody else. I had my teams, my pro teams, my college teams, but as I got into it, I just that somehow gradually got beat out of me over time. And partly in journalism school, there was a lot of peer pressure at the student paper to not be a homer. And then it probably helped me being from Kentucky that I got a job in Tennessee, where I, of course, from Kentucky, had not been a fan of Tennessee, so there was never really any kind of conflict of interest there.
What are some of the most interesting places you've gotten to go or events that you've gotten to cover?
Well, probably the most interesting place. I love to travel, and I've been to 49 states now. Not all of them covering UT sports, but a lot of them were. And in 1997, I got to go on a trip of France, and Italy, and Switzerland with the UT basketball team in the summer. Probably my favorite place to go for football is Tennessee has played at UCLA in the Rose Bowl several times, and that's just a great setting. Been to several games. Tennessee played at Notre Dame. That's a great setting. Kentucky Derby, I've done about 20 of them, and the men's Final Four in basketball, I did 4 of them, but with the way things are in the business now, we've had to, you make cutbacks, budgets get cut, so we don't do things like that anymore. But I really enjoyed them.
Who's one of the most interesting characters you've gotten to interview or get to know that you would never have been able to if you weren't part of this business?
Well, there were. That's one reason I like covering the Kentucky Derby. There were just so many characters around the racetrack. Among coaches, Bruce Pearl of here that was in Tennessee was just a really interesting character. He got it. He understood the media, knew how to work with the media. He totally got our job and helped us with it so much. That's really nice when you have a coach that gets it like that.
What were the most vital tools that you learned? I know you said that you didn't really do a whole lot of this in undergrad, but before becoming a sports writer, what were some of the vital tools that you needed to have to become as successful as you have?
Well, I don't know about successful, but this is really a basic thing, was typing. Like I took typing in high school and became a pretty good typist. And a lot of the guys I see in the press box have never had typing, and they're pecking there with one finger, and they're really fast. I mean, you get to be fast, but that was one thing, was just being able to type really fast and do it correctly. I think just learning how to ask questions, ask tough questions, how to try to have a relationship with a coach, but yet do your job, not get, you want to have a relationship with a coach, but not be too close. So that's kind of my rule. Is if a coach ever, not that any coach has ever wanted to go out and have a beer with me while he was a coach, but I wouldn't do it if he did, because it's just you hope to have a working relationship, but just not cross lines.
Now that you're in the media business, is there one particular part of media that you'd like to dabble into more than just writing, since you've learned about everything?
Well, it's we're being asked to do more and more media besides writing. We have a radio show here at the News Sentinel. I'm on a Sunday morning TV show, the Enrichment Sports Source. We're being asked to learn to do exactly what you're doing now with our smartphones, take video when we're over there at UT talking to people. So it used to be writing was everything, and now writing is just one of the things.